They never break you in obvious ways. They never need to raise their voice, tighten their grip, or show you the cage directly. What they do instead is far more effective and far more permanent. They create an environment where pressure is constant but invisible, where expectations are unclear but consequences are felt, where resistance is not punished loudly but quietly discouraged until it no longer feels worth the effort. Over time, you begin to adjust yourself without being asked. You start measuring your words before speaking. You edit your thoughts before they even fully form. You abandon ideas not because they were wrong, but because they felt dangerous to hold. And slowly, without a single command being issued, you become the one who limits yourself. They never destroy your confidence directly. They simply surround you with enough doubt that you begin dismantling it on your own. You start believing that shrinking is maturity, that silence is wisdom, and that obedience is intelligence. This is how control works when it's perfected. It doesn't attack you. It convinces you to attack yourself. Friedrich Nietzsche once warned, "He who fights with monsters should look to it that he himself does not become a monster." And if you gaze long into an abyss, the abyss also gazes into you. Nietzsche wasn't talking about violence alone. He was talking about exposure, about what happens when you remain inside a system long enough without questioning it. Eventually, the system stops needing to control you, because it has already reshaped how you see yourself. The abyss does not pull you in by force. It waits until you lean forward, willingly. How people are conditioned to break themselves. No one begins life doubting their own instincts. As children, curiosity is natural, and questioning feels safe. But that changes the moment approval becomes conditional. The system does not tell you directly that thinking independently is dangerous. Instead, it teaches you through repetition. When you conform, life becomes smoother. When you comply, resistance disappears. When you stop questioning, things feel easier. So you learn the lesson without it ever being spoken aloud. You notice that speaking honestly creates tension. You notice that challenging authority brings consequences, even if they are subtle. You notice that fitting in is rewarded, while standing apart slowly isolates you. Eventually, your brain connects the dots. You stop asking certain questions. You stop pursuing certain thoughts. You stop trusting your own judgment unless it aligns with what is already accepted. At that point, the system no longer needs enforcement. You have internalized the rules. You police your own behavior. You silence yourself before anyone else can. This is not weakness. This is conditioning, working exactly as designed. In The Dark Knight, the Joker explains this perfectly when he says, "Madness, as you know, is like gravity. All it takes is a little push." That line isn't about chaos, it's about pressure. The idea that people don't need to be shattered all at once. They just need to be nudged repeatedly in the same direction until resistance feels pointless. A little fear, a little insecurity, a little reminder of what happens when you step out of line. After that, gravity does the rest. How to stop internalizing control. Breaking free does not start with rebellion. It starts with awareness. The moment you begin observing your own hesitation, you take back power. Every time you feel the urge to hold back, question where that urge came from. Every time doubt appears, ask whether it is based on reality or on conditioning. This is not about becoming aggressive or reckless. It is about becoming mentally present, about recognizing when your thoughts are being filtered through fear rather than truth. When you understand that many of your limits were learned rather than chosen, you gain the ability to unlearn them. And the system loses its most effective weapon, your cooperation. They cannot control a mind that sees itself clearly. Rebuilding mental independence. Begin by slowing down your reactions. When you feel yourself retreating, pause and examine the reason instead of obeying it automatically. Practice expressing your thoughts fully, even if only in private at first. Write without censoring yourself. Think without immediately judging whether the thought is acceptable. Make small decisions without seeking validation. Let discomfort exist without rushing to eliminate it. This is how you rebuild trust in your own judgment. Most importantly, understand that comfort is not the same as freedom. Comfort keeps you manageable. Freedom requires awareness, responsibility, and the willingness to sit with uncertainty. They never broke you. They trained you to break yourself. And once you recognize that pattern, you can choose to stop. That choice is where real control begins.